Welcome to Crushgasm, the podcast dedicated to the highs and lows of crushes. From their first to their worst, we're going to cover them all with a cascade of characters, including our guest today, someone who finds the laughter through the pain, Kyndra Crump, a free-spirited cat mom, God-fearing YouTube head, Atlanta-based comedian, and podcaster who is here to talk not only about all the comical things going on in her life, but also a lost crush she had once upon a time. Kyndra, how are you?
Hello, everything is everything. You know, I haven't pimp slapped nobody, so been on my best behavior. How you doing today, sis?
I'm good. I have a bit of a toothache, but it's
oh man,
going away.
you know, best thing that you can do is smoke some of that sticky, icky, and then it'll go away.
Yes, but we're in Virginia, and I know it just became legal, but we're from California, and we kind of packed some away and all of our stuff that should be here hopefully next week.
Wow, wow, the government did not hear that. Okay, great. Good answer.
But anyway, so we'll get to this crush of yours, your lost crush. So you met your crush at the height of crushdom, and that's middle school, but you said you didn't fall for Damon until around sophomore year of high school. What took so long for him to go from a casual classmate to a crush?
So what ended up happening with Damon was we went to school together. I was only there for about a year. Didn't remember anybody. Well, I remember some people who stuck out to me. Some names I still remember to this day. But he sent me a message along with a lot of other people. Actually sent me a friend request along with a lot of other people. And I basically, was like, okay, because I was big pimping back in the day. Okay, I had talking to seven or eight guys at one time. Okay, it was beautiful. Like in middle school, you were pimping? No. We're talking about high school.
Okay.
Once I was able to get a Facebook. So I had sent him, we started just communicating back and forth. He pretty much stayed out of everybody. Everybody else fell to the wayside, had fallen to the wayside. And so he basically was like, okay, this is cool. He did football. I'm like, well, I'm going to be a football wife because I had watched the one season of Football Wives on VH1. And so I said, well, I'm going to be a football wife. And with that being said, that never really worked out because it was a lot crazier with the story. Continue on.
Well, you mentioned, you just said he was a football player. What position was he playing back then?
I think running back, I believe. But at the time, so we went to two different schools, of course, in high school. He went to a lower income, at-risk type of school where I think they allow anybody to come on the team, and a lot of times the stereotype in the African American community is we play basketball, football, baseball. Well, you don't see a lot of black people in baseball, but you play some type of sport, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a racist joke I was going to say about that, but I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you off camera. But no, so like I said, he played it, but I don't even know if he was that good, but I do know his grades were not good. I didn't find this out until later on.
I was going to say, because football players, there's this theory, especially with quarterbacks, that quarterbacks are usually so attractive because the popular kid is always picked to get the ball. So I want to know if he was that kind of guy. He was just Mr. Cool, all the hottest guy in school type thing.
Damon, I'm going to keep it real with you. You see, I don't know what I was thinking back then. I actually showed his picture to one of my girlfriends at the time. And she's like, okay, sis, all right. Okay, if that's what you like. And I was like, you just hate him. But as I got older, I'm like, he's not even attractive. He probably was cool in his school. I'm sure he had his popularity streak and everything else like that. He was cool, but I wouldn't know. Honestly, he wasn't hot. I'll tell you that. He ain't no Tom Brady. Tom Brady been fine since my entire life. And I was like, bro, you 50 years old still playing? I'm like, well, I'm trying to play in your room, but he married. I don't do that. Right.
Isn't that always the case when you look back at some crushes and you're like, wow, what was my vision off? Maybe there was just nobody else around, because I do that all the time.
There are a lot of people I had a crush on. I had a crush on Diddy, the entertainer, Bad Boys. I had a crush on who else? Young Berg, who is now known as Hitmaker. I had a crush on, it was a lot of people. I'm like, bro, what the hey was I thinking?
So Damon, he was this kind of, in retrospect, not that attractive football player, but you still liked him. But what were you like in high school? You said you were pimping. So were you a popular? What was your clique?
I definitely was not popular. I was well known, but I was not popular at all. I just hung out with the other unpopular people and tried to have a boyfriend for every day of the week, and I failed at that. So there it is.
So you were a pimp in spirit.
Yes, in my mind, honey, in my mind.
So did he know that you liked him like that, or was this one of those situations where you just like longed for him from afar?
Oh, like it was definitely mutual. We talked about. I'm like, oh, you can have my virginity. That's how like we got to that conversation.
Whoa.
And then he sent me his penis picture like a couple like years after that. It was crazy.
Oh my
God!
No.
He sent it to me that same year. He sent it to me
high school.
In high school.
Oh my God, scandalous. Well, what year did you go to high school?
Yeah, this was like 11th grade year. Like I met, like I said, 10th grade, we reconnected. In 11th grade year, he sent that to me. And this was when I didn't have a phone, and my mother had her cell phone. And I'm so glad I got that phone, like to check her phone before she checked it. That would have been bad.
Oh my God.
That would have been bad.
What do you think she would have done to you? You wouldn't be here today.
You know what? I just know that I don't even know what my mother would have done, man. No telling what my mom would have done, because I think that's been a while since she done seen a ding dong as well. You know, so I didn't want to scare that woman's old, because my mom was old, man. I didn't want to scare her heart. So
now you said it was kind of mutual. You were talking about giving each other virginity and whatnot. So, but who made that initial first move? You or him?
Definitely him. He was the one. No. I had said to him, because it was like people just like I said started randomly sending me messages, and I would just be like, hey, do we know each other? I slid in their DM first, and he's like, yeah, we went to middle school together. And I'm like, oh, I don't remember you. And then we just started talking from there. Outside
of school, Damon had a lot in common with my mom and both my brothers, in that he was like a teen parent, and coming from a home that had an abundance of them, I don't think it's weird at all. That's where I came from. But is it something that made you sort of think twice about getting serious with him?
What really made me think twice, I had a girlfriend at the time as well, who I told her about Damon. She says, Kyndra, you need to start dating guys who have the same thing as you. We're both 18 at this point, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a car, a license, a job. And to me, that's just deplorable, because how do you not have any of that, right? He had none of that. And he basically and I was sad, because I'm like, I really wanted this to work out. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something else that was crazy, right? I remember I'm in Atlanta. I went to one of the libraries, and I just happened to go to this adult section, and I just happened to open up this, like, find this book randomly, and I opened up this book and I flipped the page, and it had his first name and last name, and it had my first name and a different last name, but it said we're married and we're living somewhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this must be true. We're definitely supposed to be together. Oh my gosh. You know, I was like doing Shanae Jenkins from Martin. Oh my goodness. Like, I was literally like in my mind, like, this must be true. I'm like, I found this book. I like, no BS to you. I found this book randomly, and it said we're together and we're happily ever after. And this is a fictitious book. And I thought this was God's way of saying, this is your husband. But God's like, leave me out of this mess.
I mean, that is pretty crazy, because I mean, our name isn't common.
Exactly, it's not. And that's why I was really like, this must be it. Like I said, the name was a different last name, but at the same time, I thought because his first name and last name was in the book along with my first name, I said it must be true. You remember how they made that thing 11/11 make a wish?
Yeah.
Like back in, so I made a wish on 11/11 2011 at 11:11 a.m. at the 11th second. I made the wish that we're going to be together.
Wow. But it didn't come true.
Thank God, man.
I had another guest who, her name is very uncommon, Elisheba, but it happens to be in the Bible one time, and it was with the name of her husband. So she also saw a sign and kind of took it and ran with it.
Yeah, and like I said, that was one of the things, like, I literally was like, yeah, we're gonna be together and all that type of stuff, you know. But yeah, like I said, when I was 18 and he's 18, but he has nothing to go for, and I didn't understand at the time, but I was upset, and I was like, why is this not working? How come we're not together? Whatever it might be. But my girlfriend was right. Like, you should not try to date people who don't have nothing to like in common. They don't have nothing to give to you or whatever else it may be.
And you're 18, you're graduated. Usually, like, once I graduated, I kind of forgot every crush I ever had. I was like, I'm moving on. But yours kind of lingered after that. Did you guys go to the same college? It doesn't sound like Damon was going to college or anything. Or did you just keep tabs on social media? Is that how the crush kind of kept going?
We had each other's phone number, and we kept tabs on social media. I still kept in contact with him. Because that day that he sent me that message, you know, started saying, oh, I want you, I like you, and everything else like that. This was in 3 months after we all graduated high school. And no, we didn't go to college. Like, Damon didn't do nothing. Like, he went to a community college, then he went out of state a couple years after that. Like, he literally did nothing with his life. Like, he didn't even like I said, his grades were bad. So he couldn't even get an acceptance award a scholarship for college.
And you said like the crush started to fizzle because of his lifestyle. Was his lifestyle that he just kind of had no goals?
No goals in life. This was around the time I was like, I really wanted to see about making it work. But he's like, you know, dealing with his baby mom, and he is, I couldn't even like meet his child. He would make up excuses to, you know, when it came with the child, like make up excuses. And I couldn't meet his child. And I was like, why can't I meet his child? This other girl said, because she's at the age where she's talking. And then what's going to happen is she's going to say your name around him. And, you know, I mean, around the mom. And she's going to be like, well, who the F is Kyndra? You know? And so he didn't want to have that issue. Men will do that. Like men, so they don't have to hear that woman's mouth. They will do certain things. And I'm like, wow, you guys are wuss.
I totally get that. My brother has baby mama drama. So I know all about that. When they finally broke up after too many years of fighting, it was like when they started dating other people, there was a lot of drama that came with when do we introduce new people into my nephew's life. So I get that.
But you know what? I'll tell you really what made me fall out of crush and say, you know, I'm really just done with him. I remember I decided I was just checking on on Instagram, and I saw a picture that like first thing that came up on my news feed was him and his baby mom, a picture of them together. And the caption was, I'm happy to have her back in my life, heart emoji. And I said, okay. And I laughed and I said, this is it. It's over. I'm not going back and forth with you.
Was he still talking to you when he posted that?
Yeah, he was. And that was that's the worst thing. He was still talking to me. And I remember like sis, I cried like this one particular day. Like when I seen that, I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm a G. I'm gonna thug it out. And then it just hit me when I remember I was babysitting, and it just hit me, and I had cried, and I'm like, why? Type of thing, man. I was like literally like shedding some tears and all that other type of stuff. You know, I was crying and whatnot, you know, and I remember I said, yeah, you just, you know, whatever I said, and he just really just didn't care.
Now this is a lost crush, but I feel like you wouldn't want to find him again. I feel like you moved past him.
Oh no! I love how you had to put the question mark at the end. Like, okay, so I've had, like, I love how you done this before with people, and even though they'll be telling you like how horrible they are, they're like, I'm still searching for them, and they're like, you're like in your mind, like,
you
sis, let it go.
know.
But no. He actually, I'm glad. I'm gonna tell you the real. So let me keep tell you what else happened, just to answer your question. What ended up happening after that? After he did that, I would say close to a year later, he hits me back up again. It was like I pretty much was on the back burner, right? He hits me back up again, talking about how he, you know, or a couple years after that, he talked about, oh, I want to, you know, hang out with you. I want to, you know, do X, Y, and Z. And I said, no, I'm okay. I remember this particular day. This was on Snapchat. He posted a little picture that said, who can I smoke this blunt with? That's what he said. And I was like, oh, we never smoked weed before. Let's bond. Even though, again, this ain't nothing. That's it. He said, okay, cool. He's like, why don't you? He's like, why don't you come over after school? So I actually, you know what, and this is when I got enrolled back into college, and I was so excited that I got enrolled back. I was excited that he sent me a message. So this is what I did. I ended up leaving class that day, like leaving school. I had one more class, but I just didn't go. I'm like, it's first day, whatever. So I left. I mean, I passed that class with an A anyway. So, just to let y'all know that. So I left school early to go to right before I went to work. I left school early. I pull up at his house and he had 3 other guys in the room and we just all there sitting, smoking blunts. And we walk outside and Damon's like, hey, I want to ask you something. I'm like, okay, go ahead. Ask. Like, well, come here a little closer. I'm like, for what reason? He's like, I don't want everybody to hear it. And I'm like, bro, your neighbors are 30 feet that way, 30 feet to like, what do you, I said, okay, but what is it? He's like, can we talk about us getting back together or getting together? And I'm like, no, Damon, that ship is sailed. I said, okay. He's like, okay, cool. Not a problem. Couple weeks after that, or within a week to 2 weeks after that, send him a message. I said, hey, what are you up to? What you doing? He's like, he told me whatever he was doing. I said, okay, yeah, I'm at work doing some computer work at the moment before I go back on the floor. He said, can I ask you something? I said, yeah, just go ahead and ask. He says, can you give me some head? When he said that, at that point, I'm like, you know what? This is completely over. And then I saw online that he ended up moving. I just found out that he moved to Florida with a woman, and they have she has her own kid. He has his kid, of course, and he moved away, and he moved her, and I'm like, but at really that point and this is like 3 years back, I guess, when he had said that was like, bro, like, what? You still owe me some. That means I'll be owing too. I don't have time for that.
Do you ever wonder what it would be like if you'd be together, if he would have said, yeah, I'll come over after work and give you head? Would you be together today?
No, I just will get some head from him and then I'll go on about my day. Because again, I will be owing too. I don't have time for that. I don't like being a record. Like, I don't like doing that really anyway. Like, because I be feeling like it's a chore and sometimes, and especially if I don't really like you as a person, it would not have worked. I'm telling you, if you like, it's certain things that I just require from certain men. Okay, and he just, like I said, he's just a horrible person. But no, it would not have lasted.
Yeah, usually at the end of the crush portion, I ask, what do you imagine your life would be like together? But this is a case where we're just gonna skip on ahead because I don't think it would have worked out.
You listen, that's it.
So now we're gonna talk about your comedy and all you have going on. So I want to know, what made you get into comedy in the first place?
I had multiple people tell me over a course of time that I was funny, including children. And it's 3 things that do not lie. It's children, a drunk man, and leggings. Okay. And so with that being said, I ultimately had decided to go on Snapchat 2016. And I said, hey, welcome back to the Kyndra Crump Show. And at the time, it was like Lil' Kim's Hard Vulgar. And actually, to keep it real with you as well, I actually wrote some of her lyrics, off of hardcore, but we've been beefing since the 90s. So if you wonder why my name never made it on the credits, that's why. But I started putting my videos late 2017, early 2018 on IG. And now I decided to start jumping on people's podcasts October 2020. And since October 2020, I have been on at least 700 podcasts.
That's impressive. I can't even name that many. And I do podcasts. So you say you want people to come laugh at the pain in the stories that you tell. Do you think that whole theory about comedians being tortured souls has like some truth to it then?
Very true. Very true. A lot of the pain, it roots from pain. A lot of our comedy roots from pain. So I definitely wholeheartedly agree with that. And so that's why, if I can make a person laugh, I did my job.
You said like in recent years, people have told you were funny and that's why you turned to comedy. But even when you were younger, were you kind of a class clown type of person?
Never was a class clown. My teacher thought I was funny, but I never was a class clown. I was like pretty much, reserved and everything else.
Well, almost like every comedian now has a podcast. It's almost like an extension of themselves. You've had yours for a while now. What made you want to start that up?
Because I have a lot to say. You can't get canceled on your own podcast. I have a lot to say. I have a lot of, I have a lot of different things that I want to get out there. I have a segment called "What Would You Like to Ban?" BAN. For example, I want to ban people who park over the line. So I try to, get a chance to just speak my truth. And I started at July 2019.
Do you find that it helps you like kind of build up your comedy act too?
It does. I just sit there, I ramble on, and I just hope people like it. And you know, just certain things I say online. I mean, certain things I'll say on my podcast, I won't say online, depending on what's going on.
You mentioned the whole thing of not being able to get canceled on your own podcast. What do you think of the whole, like, do you think the cancel culture has taken a big aim at stand-up comedy?
Of course. And I don't know why. Maybe because they're mad at their body canceled on them at an early age. But like, quit sitting here and trying to take it out on other people because your life sucked. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Now for a quick comedy speed round. So I want to know the first TV show that made you appreciate laughter.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The first three, well, all of the seasons until I got older. I'm like, bro, this show's kind of crappy. But yes, the first 3 seasons of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Thought you would have said Martin shouting out Shanae early.
Yeah, no. I'd do a little, flipperoo on you.
Favorite living comedian?
Carlos Miller from the Wild 'N Out 85 South show.
Now, a little controversial, the most overrated comedian?
Kevin Hart. Gosh, my cat can do better jokes than him.
I don't really know his stand-up too well. Like, I know him mostly from movies, and sometimes they're not so great. Sometimes they are funny, but yeah, I don't know too much about his stand-up.
No, you don't want to know. You don't want to know his stand-up, sis. It's terrible.
And where can those in Atlanta see you in the new year? Do you have any shows lined up?
Well, in the new year, I'll be in school, so y'all can see me at Georgia State if I plan on showing up there, or just see me online. That's probably what I might do. But that's it. Only going back to school so I can be on the road to getting my PhD in child psychology.
Oh, congratulations! What an amazing degree.
Yeah, you can call me Dr. Crump.
Oh, well, future Dr. Crump. Can you tell people where they can find you online?
Yes, my Instagram is the Kyndra Crump Show. So D as in the Kyndra Crump Show. Okay, not with no money, so I'm not no fake ass ASAP Rocky. SHOW. My YouTube is Kyndra Crump, KYNDRA CRUMP. Please put a space between Kyndra and Crump because a lot of y'all's wheels and y'all's bus don't go round and round. And my podcast is called the Kyndra Crump Show. And you are more than welcome to come on there anytime.
Well, Kyndra, I'll take you up on that offer. We could talk about things I want to ban too. I have a lot of them.
Do not tell me now. Just wait till you get on the show.
I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about your lost crush today. And everyone, you can find all of Kyndra's information below in the description. And until next time, keep crushing it.